Coming up on 6:48 on your Thursday morning, it's time now for the morning rush. The man accused of hitting and killing a 7-year-old outside the River of Lights will be back in court for the third day of trial. One question in the case is if Sergio Almanza was intoxicated when he hit 7-year-old Pronoy Batacharia back in 2021. The waitress who served Almanza and his friends that night testified that the group ordered 12 shots. The defense argued the receipt from that night does not prove who drank those shots.
A New Mexico mother who evaded law enforcement for years has now been finally captured. Last week, deputies found 58-year-old Martha Crouch in Walsenburg, Colorado. Comes after one of her adult children called authorities to alert them of Crouch's history. After hours of searching, deputies say that they found Crouch hiding inside of a wall. The arrest comes nearly 2 years after San Juan County issued an arrest warrant for Crouch after several of her 15 children reported extreme abuse in 2019.
A New Mexico woman is behind bars after police say her young daughter got a hold of her drugs and ended up in the hospital. Earlier this week, police arrested Larissa Lovato on child abuse charges. This comes a year after the incident. Lovato has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2013 with charges including shoplifting, drug possessions, and aggravated fleeing. Erica.
And here's a look at our school day forecast. Temperatures are in the mid-60s, so it's a cooler morning out there. You may want a light rain jacket because we could see some spotty showers here pretty soon. 85 by this afternoon and looking drier.
State lawmakers are set to have an additional $3.4 billion to spend in the next fiscal year. Once again, the big driver is oil and gas revenue. Well, economists believe that even if the crude oil prices drop, it won't affect the state's latest revenue estimates. By July of next year, the state expects oil production will have doubled from where it was 5 years ago.
The Los Lunas Police Department is inviting residents to join them for a cup of coffee and a conversation this morning. This is part of the Coffee with a Cop program, which encourages members of the public to ask questions, voice concerns, and get to know local law enforcement. That'll be held at the McDonald's on Main Street in Los Lunas from 9 to 10:30.
Attorney General Raul Torres said that his office is now suing New Mexico Solar Group to get back thousands of dollars that customers spent on solar panel projects that never came to be. He is also looking into Meraki Solar and Titan Solar. That comes after receiving dozens of complaints accusing the companies of using unfair and deceptive business practices. Erica.
And here's a look at our threat index. It is moderate today as we could see flooding in the Sacramento mountains and a chance for mountain showers and storms.
A new project is underway to preserve the historical Spanish dialect spoken in northern New Mexico. A group headed by Zachary Quintero, the acting director of the National Hispanic Cultural Center, has started the Legacy Project to save the special dialect. The group is asking community members to donate materials that could help them demonstrate how long the form has been in use.
APS is hosting an open house celebrating the completion of a $43 million renovation project. That's at the Janet Kahn School of Integrated Arts. The school will eventually expand to become a kindergarten through 8th grade school. That's with 6th grade classes being added this year. The open house is at the school and it's set today from 4 to 6.
A mass shooting at a biker bar in California has left at least 4 people dead and 6 others injured. Police in Orange County say the shooting happened around 7 last night inside Cook's Corner Bar and Restaurant in Trabuco Canyon. Authorities aren't saying if the gunman was killed by law enforcement or took his own life. Erica.
All right, a check on traffic. The maps are clear, no accidents or slowdowns to report. And here's a look at tracker heading west on I-40 near 6th Street. Everything is moving up to speed.
Tennessee Titans rookie quarterback Will Levis lands a lifetime contract with Hellmann's Mayonnaise. The Titans QB has now signed on to a new lifetime supply of mayonnaise contract. While with the University of Kentucky, a video of Levis putting mayo in his coffee went viral. And then yesterday during a mock press conference to announce his contract with Hellmann's, Levis once again put the lunch condiment in his coffee and even spread some on a muffin.
Time now for the 5 facts.
At number 5, a new project is underway to preserve the historical Spanish dialect spoken in northern New Mexico. In the last 3 months, a group headed by Zachary Quintero, the acting director of the National Hispanic Cultural Center, has started the Legacy Project to save the special dialect. The group is asking community members to donate materials that could help them demonstrate how long the form has been used. The group's findings will be published and available at the NHCC.
At number 4, the Attorney General is investigating a New Mexico solar company after its abrupt closure. AG Raul Torres said that his office is now suing New Mexico Solar Group to get back thousands of dollars that were spent on solar panel projects that never came to be. He's also looking into Meraki Solar and Titan Solar after receiving dozens of complaints accusing the companies of using unfair and deceptive business practices. We did reach out to New Mexico Solar Group but did not hear back. Titan Solar and Meraki Solar told us that they will cooperate with the AG's investigation.
And number 3, we'll be seeing spotty showers and storms mainly over the mountains today, but could see some sprinkles this morning in the metro, along with some light showers later this evening.
And number 2, a New Mexico woman is behind bars after police say that her young daughter got a hold of her drugs and ended up in the hospital. Police arrested Larissa Lovato. That was on Tuesday, a year after the indictment. She's being charged with child abuse. Now, this case is another example of a problem that New Mexico lawmakers discussed yesterday afternoon as the state continues to rank poorly in child welfare. A report reviewed by the Legislative Finance Committee shows that a parent's history is a key factor in a child having long-term problems like depression and substance abuse. As for Lovato, she has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2013.
At number 1, a New Mexico mother who has been on the run for years is behind bars this morning after a tip from one of her kids led police to a bizarre hideout. 58-year-old Martha Crouch was found last week in Walsenburg, Colorado. After hours of searching, deputies found her hiding inside of a wall. The arrest comes nearly 2 years after San Juan County issued a warrant for Crouch, who had pleaded no contest to child abuse after several of her 15 kids reported extreme abuse in 2019. Crouch is now facing a felony charge for child abuse in Orfeno County, Colorado, and is being held on a $5,000 bond as she awaits extradition back to New Mexico.